2025 has been an insane year, for better or for worse. It's absolutely going to be one for the history books. So, with all of the weird and unexpected stuff that's gone down this year, I thought together we'd take a look back on it. Let's start off with the obvious one. The Minecraft movie released in April of this year, and without a doubt was the most anticipated and highest profile release of this year, even though the reception of the early trailers was abysmal. If you followed the story of the Minecraft movie's production for a while, like I did, you'll know that the film had a fairly troubled and long-winded production, years-long delays, and that it went through a whole load of different directors, writers, and producers. But earlier this year, it finally came out, and me and a group of about 10 friends went to see it day one. The theatre was packed, and it was honestly really wholesome to see everyone shouting and cheering for the memes from the trailers.
Chicken jockey!
Even though the Minecraft movie was the most anticipated release of the year, the other biggest movie of the year was a complete surprise, for me at least. I'm of course talking about K-pop Demon Hunters, which has literally taken the world by storm. I'm fairly sure it became the biggest release in the history of Netflix, which is insane in 2025, and you don't need me to tell you that the soundtrack has been absolutely everywhere. I haven't watched it yet, please don't shoot me. Some of the other big releases this year were Jurassic World Rebirth, which got fairly mixed reviews but made over $800 million at the box office. The How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake also released, and I was fairly worried that it would get the Minecraft movie treatment and the CGI would look like absolute nightmare fuel, but the CGI blended with live action was actually kind of tasteful, and I thought it wasn't too bad. As I'm recording this, Avatar Fire and Ash has just released, and I haven't watched it yet, but it seemed to get the same kind of reception as the previous films, and is absolutely dominating the box office at the moment, with an opening weekend of almost 90 million. Something that was awful though was the Snow White remake. It released earlier this year, and was absolutely incinerated by the entire internet. Also, Mission Impossible 8 came out. I was really looking forward to it since 7 was so good, but when I went to see 7 in cinemas the year before last on my birthday, my car was clamped and I was stuck there all day, so I'm waiting for it to show up on streaming. Oh, and the Shrek 5 trailer released. Okay, moving on. "2025 had some fairly big things going on in music. Sabrina Carpenter released her new album, Man's Best Friend, which was predictably huge, and even though I'm not personally a huge fan of her music and I don't really know anyone who is, the reaction was fairly positive from what I could see online, and the whole thing seemed to be a decently good modern pop album. The same can't be said for Taylor Swift, however. She released The Life of a Showgirl in October of 2025, and even though it topped the charts, there seemed to be quite a lot of criticism about some things like some awful lyrics, and some really weird diss track aimed at Charlie XCX of all people. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the Oasis reunion. This is probably going to go down in history as one of, if not the single biggest cultural event of the decade, particularly if you live in the UK or Ireland like I do. Liam and Noel Gallagher finally put aside their years of differences and got back up on stage together for the first time in 16 years. Now, I've seen some fairly aggressive scrambles for tickets, but I've honestly never seen anything on the scale of the Oasis reunion tour. There were queues of literally hundreds of thousands of people for every single date of the tour, and even on the off chance that you were able to get to the front, you'd be met with tickets that could literally be priced in the thousands. I sadly did not get tickets for that one. Very few bands out there have the influence to literally send an entire country into a frenzy to try and get tickets, and the scale of this tour really is a testament to their lasting legacy that even after this long is only growing. Another big tour this year though was My Chemical Romance, and even though they got back together a couple of years ago, they kicked off the Long Live the Black Parade Anniversary Stadium Tour this year, which is their biggest and most successful tour so far. Even all these years later, the band still have all their energy and theatrics on stage, and I even managed to get tickets to see them in Wembley Stadium next year, and I honestly can't wait. It really will be the show of a lifetime. Youngblood released his new album Idols this year, which I really enjoyed. It's an amazing album and really versatile. My favourite track was the 9-minute opener, Hello Heaven Hello. Other than that, Irish punk band Fontaines DC have continued to ascend into one of the most unique and exciting bands in the modern rock scene, continuing to release singles and tour in the wake of the release of their landmark 2024 album Romance, including 2 shows at Dublin's 3 Arena that I'm fairly sure sold out. We lost some legends too though. Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne played a short set one last time in Birmingham over the summer with an insane lineup of support acts that included artists like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Youngblood, Pantera and a whole bunch of others. It's just insane to me that a few months ago every original member of a band that's been active since like 1968 were on stage and playing together. Tragically, though, Ozzy Osbourne died about 21 days later after the farewell show, and we also lost Ace Frehley, the guitarist from Kiss. On a happier note, though, you don't need me to tell you that Olivia Rodrigo is one of the biggest and most influential pop stars of the last couple of years, and something really cool and completely unexpected happened this year at Glastonbury. She was joined on stage by Robert Smith, the singer and guitarist for The Cure, and they played Just Like Heaven and Friday I'm in Love together. As a big fan of The Cure, it was so cool to see, because first of all, Robert Smith's voice hasn't aged a day since his prime in the 80s and 90s. But also to see the new and old of the alternative scene together on stage, exposing a whole new audience to these amazing songs. Let's first address the elephant in the room. GTA 6 finally got a proper release date, for real this time, trust me bro, and it's already very clearly the most anticipated game of all time. It even won the most anticipated game award this year, which I think everyone saw coming. Both trailers have broken records, and it really is insane that 12 years after the release of the last game in the franchise, the momentum and player numbers have only gotten bigger. The Nintendo Switch 2 also released, and even though it sold well, they still somehow had no solution to stick drift, which was probably the biggest problem with the original Switch. Black Ops 7 came out, and I didn't play it since a lot of what I heard about it online was fairly negative. Towards the end of October, a remake of Halo Combat Evolved was revealed, and just based on what we've seen so far, even though I'm a big fan of the franchise, I'm not particularly excited for it. It doesn't look really bad or anything, it just doesn't look particularly exciting. I've done a full video on my thoughts on the remake, link in the description if you're interested. The long-anticipated next entry in the Borderlands franchise, Borderlands 4, also released, and even though the film adaptation of the games crashed and burned both critically and financially last year, there seems to be a decent amount of interest around the next game. Oh yeah, and my personal favourite of the last year was Hollow Knight Silksong. After literally years of absolutely no information, a new trailer was shown at Gamescom, and the game was released not long later, and it really was phenomenal. The first Hollow Knight game was and still is one of my favourite games ever. It really has some of the most unique gameplay and best setting and art style that I think we've had in recent years, and I can honestly say that Silksong lives up to the original. I think I'd actually give Silksong my Game of the Year award for 2025. At the time that I'm recording this, the Game Awards happened a bit more than a week ago, and it was amazing to see Silksong get so much love and recognition at the 2025 Game Awards. It got nominated for Game of the Year, Best Art Direction, Player's Voice, Best Soundtrack and Best Indie Game, and even won Best Action Adventure Game. Something else that was cool to see was No Man's Sky getting some love. It's been one of my favourite games for years, and it was great to see it getting nominated for Best Community Support and win Best Ongoing Game. This game's return and comeback over the last few years has been amazing, and it really is a testament to how much faith the devs and community had in this vision. I put this last in the video because I doubt most people watching this really care about it, but since this is probably going to be my last video for 2025, I might as well say it now. I've gone from literally one singular subscriber at the start of the year to, as I'm recording this, just over 500, which is insane to think about. My video on the Halo CE Anniversary Remaster is currently sitting at almost 15,000 views, and the channel overall recently hit 50,000 views all in 1 year. At the time of recording, my Starfield video is also well on its way to becoming the most successful video in the history of my channel. For the last time in 2025, thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart for choosing to watch my videos and listen to me yap about all this first world nonsense. It really means the world to me, and let's all aim for an even better 2026. I've already got loads of great ideas for where I want to take the channel in the coming year, so for now, goodbye and I'll see you all in 2026.